Good scene. What's popping? I know you've been listening for a
What's
minute,
up?
man. Hey, man, you know I miss you, man. I ain't seen you in a month of Sundays.
I know.
That's how
Hey,
y'all say it, right?
Kasim.
Yeah, I'll be. What's up, guys? This has been a really, really good, interesting conversation. I've been back and forth for a while now. I think the one time I wanted to get on, but then another client showed up, and it's like every time I want to get on camera, client shows up. So now I'm just here finishing up the last things. But I think there's a lot of commonalities in the conversations that we've had, right? I think the main goal is for us to first of all get along with one another. But there's different avenues and different roads and how we get to that. And that main point would be communication, right? I'm in the profession right now where I really have to watch what I say and how I deliver things to make sure that each person receives that message in a way that makes them, first of all, buy into what we're trying to do, but also to buy into what the goal is going to be. And you have to change that with every person. The same line of communication is not going to work with one person. So you have to be able to get a chance to know that person first by solidifying some type of credibility or whatever by what you do and what you say, particularly in this community, because most people in this community now they have certain reputations, right? And certain ways that they speak to people and certain outcomes and how they think. And people have gotten a sense of who they are and whether they're going to respect them or either listen to what they have to say or just chuck it to the side and say deuces and have a different response. But I'm just a big believer in tailoring your communication to what outcome that you want. But the outcome has to come from a true, genuine space. And if we want women, to acquiesce and to go a certain way, there's a certain way that we have to communicate that, but understanding their nature, knowing how they relate and how they respond and how they receive information, knowing that first, taking that knowledge and then importing the message that you have so that it's receptive for her, right? And she agrees with it and she buys into it, which is the greatest win. And if you're not getting results by how you communicate things, you should change your plan and watch how you execute it and do better. So that's just my little take on it.
Okay. Yeah, tailor. So you generally think that men should tailor their communication based on the audience?
Absolutely. You have to, because everyone's coming from a different frame of reference, a different mindset, a different set of values and characters. And you being in charge of that, you should know who your audience is and have a bigger scope from your knowledge and experience to know how to breadcrumb certain information to certain people. Real leaders take time and honing and practicing and making sure that skill is good so they get better outcomes and people follow them more.
Gotcha. Do you do that at work, I assume?
I do that at work, at home, when I'm with my girl, when I'm with my cousins, when I'm out and about. I always have to continue to sharpen my communication because it's gonna help me out for the better. It's gonna help me and my household to be run better. It's gonna help me in my profession that I get to help my clients and they pour into me. So I get to help the community from the people that I'm out spending money with, these shops and things like that. So it's a win-win for me. And I think if we look at it more in that sense versus how the other person is going to benefit from it, then you're going to lose because that person can walk away at any moment. Then what do you have? All you got is you. But if you always worked on yourself, then that's going to carry you through everything that you're going to learn. And I tell my sons that.
So let me ask you one thing. I want to understand it, right? Like kind of playing devil's advocate. I notice when my wife is communicating with the kids, she does a level of like acquiescing, right? And try to cater to them in terms of hopefully they'll get the things done. I see her bending right to kind of their will, and it's not yielding great results, right? I generally speak to them the same way, but I get results instantly because I'm consistent in how I communicate with them and I don't waver. These are kids, right? To be fair, Kasim, but I'm just trying to illustrate the point. So I'm using a anecdotal, not extreme example, but example just to try to paint the ideology, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that, but there's also two different dynamics in how you communicate and how your wife communicates, and you guys complement one another, right? There may be certain times where hopefully y'all get enough time away where the kids is gone and you guys get to have your own quality time where you can talk about these things and ways of communicating. I'm sure that she knows the groundwork and the bedrock of how you want your household run, and she takes that and she solidifies that and does that the best of her her ability. But obviously, every now and you got to come in, you got to come in, you got to correct every now and then.
Yeah,
I think what sometimes we do, we
I
just say
see.
we get orders and then.
Let me interject. I
What's up?
apologize. I knew that the example was gonna be focused on, but I did it anyway. That's my fault. What I'm saying is the show, so people will bend to the people that they need to give direction to, right? They'll offer prizes and they'll try to be soft and diplomatic. They'll try to be heavy-handed at times, but then people were like, they're inconsistent in the communication because they're trying to bend to so many different people, right? As opposed to the person who's just like, listen, get this done or else. And so I'm wondering, if you try to bend too much and acquiesce, does that work consistently for a long term?
Well, that has a lot to do with the long-term goal, right? It's about, sometimes you have to lose the battle in order to win the war. Sometimes part of that plan, you have to acquiesce a little bit just to get to the next step. And then once you get to that next step, then you can go a little bit deeper into the conversation. It's a back and forth thing. There's nothing wrong with retreating every now and then, right? Going back to the den, get some more information, and coming out and doing better. That's really a good part of negotiating. And I think men don't always have to hold their ground and hold the line all the time. Sometimes when you get overwhelmed or you just want to have a certain amount of peace, sometimes you got to retreat. Go back, get more information, and the next time you come out, impart the information so you can go forward.
Okay.
The only thing I'm not necessarily like, the dynamic change from subordinate to from random person. Like, that's a different dynamic. The child, it like a random person, a random grown adult, a peer is different than someone that's my subordinate.
Yeah. So the premise. Yeah, I think child, and that's what I'm saying. The child thing was too.
But even under his situation, it'd be his subordinate. It wouldn't be a peer that he's trying to do it.
Okay, for. So the wife is a peer. The wife or the woman you're in a relationship is a peer, huh?
I mean,
for the majority,
more so, yeah. I know we like to have God-fearing hierarchy crap, but she's an adult at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So she can still pick and choose to be there or not. Divorce is a thing, and it ain't like there's no fault exists. It's not the fault thing anymore. So
and you can't diss consequences, right? So
it's, so like kids, they gonna try to run away. They still your responsibility. They're gonna hand them right back to you.
Yeah, that's why I automatically apologized, because I knew it was too right. So,
and the subordinate, granted, they could leave and say fuck this job, but it's still a different situation. Your whole purpose is to give them orders and direction. You're not supposed to do that to random people on the street necessarily.
Touché.
That's not a standard.
Are we going to do point number 4?
Before we leave this point?
Well, I think they wanted to address. Do y'all want Sway to say it again, or Ali, or do you remember what he said?
I listened to the main point that they made. And then I listened to the main point Kasim made.
Go ahead.
He said that women don't owe you nothing. That's what the main point was. So, and then Kasim said we back on the delivery part again. But if men are leaders, men are supposed to conform to the followers. The followers are supposed to conform to the leaders. So, and this is why I say again, women don't owe us anything. We supposed to give them the truth. We owe them the truth. We owe them not to play with their feelings. We owe with not lying to them. Like, we get 2 men say something, it derails from the point again back to making it seem like the men are doing something wrong again. But they said, Sway said women don't owe you anything. Sherelle clapped for him. And now we back to the leader conforming to the follower. If if you got to convince your woman to be with you, that your woman?
No.
So why are we telling brothers how to convince a woman to be with you and to follow you? If she wants to be with you and follow you, she's going to do it.
Yeah.
She's going to conform to the leader. So again, we're grown men misleading brothers again, telling brothers to acquiesce to the person who's trying to follow you. She already sees you as a leader, or she wouldn't be there. She wants you to do. She wants you to do and say how she wants you to do it. That's the problem. So
Ali, I just want to highlight, you said it back, because when I used my initial example, I think you caught what I was trying to get at with the kids. That was the point. So
yes.
Can I highlight that?
Hold on, one more thing. A bad experience with a follower doesn't invalidate the leader. So if you're getting good results, if you're getting people that want to follow you, but every time now you have a market of people that want to follow you but won't acquiesce to what you want them to do, but they still want to be attached to you, that means that those followers are trying to use you. They're not trying to add to your life. And that's what I'm saying too. None of what they just said adds to what makes a man happy and what makes a man feel good. So we still talking about happy wife, happy life instead of happy spouse, happy house.
So you picked out 5 words that I said out of a complete thought. And that's how I know you're triggered, because you just proved it. You can't remember what I said because you only pointed out 5 words. That doesn't surmise my whole complete thought, sir. That wasn't the main that wasn't the main premise of my thought. You actually conflated my points to other men's points to like I was trying to justify men being righteous, and that's what they should do. I actually said there isn't a societal standard for that. So the idea that we're supposed to uphold them to it doesn't make sense, because they haven't been incentivized to quote unquote be real men. So you're trying to hold a standard to men of today when they have not been grown their whole life to be that. You're trying to uphold them to a standard of men of yesteryear were grown into be. So I was actually on your side on that point. I can make multiple points to say a lot of things don't actually make sense because you're trying to uphold a standard for men being quote unquote men, but you don't incentivize them to do that. And then they pick and choose. They have to pick and choose. Men and women pick and choose when men should be men, and society picks and choose when men should be men. And that's the far and few between. And I said the only men that I would hold to a standard of trying to be a quote unquote righteous real man is the ones that proclaim themselves to be. So that means if they proclaim themselves to be a real man, but they in the same breath watched a woman get abducted and didn't do nothing, or attacked in the alley and didn't do nothing, or is out here shooting up the club left and right, and then there's being a disgrace to the community and they're being toxic, I could judge those men because now they're trying to outwardly say I'm a real man. But today, most men don't even give a fuck about that. They said that's just dumb because it's wishy-washy. People pick and choose. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be a grown ass man. I'm not going to be this idea of what a real man is. I'm going to be a grown ass man and do what the fuck I want to do and choose. And I'm going to pick and choose who I protect. That means I'm pick and choose my mama, my sister, and my bitch. I ain't got nothing to do with these random women. If I can give them correction, but if they don't want to listen, I'm not sitting there trying to belabor and badger them, especially the ones that say, I don't give a fuck about what you got to say. And why am I still trying to give them correction?
We agreed with that. We said we
exactly. So when you conflated my points because
your emotions,
everything,
you're triggered because I responded to what you said.
My point, and you listened to 5 words, and that's what you surmised my point to be. Even though I made a whole separate point that agreed to what you stand on.
But he just literally you repainted it. You set the premise. Let him respond to what you just said.
No, I'm just saying he just dismissed the idea earlier that he didn't get triggered, even though he only.
Well, let's converse. Let's converse. Go ahead, Ali.
And I won't even know what you're doing right now. Okay, that's fine. We agreed with what you said in the beginning, and then the brother said we didn't agree with what you said at the end of it. You said women don't owe you anything. That's what you said.
What was the parts before that led up to me saying that? And what did I say after that?
Now we're having a conversation about a conversation.
It's like you picking and choosing what you want out of the thing.
No, I'm not. I said I agreed. I don't have to repeat what you said when I said I agreed with what you said in the beginning. At the very end, you said women.
What led up to me saying those 5 words? What did I say? What was the 10 words before that?
Again, you were speaking about when you got near the end of it, you were speaking about women's emotions, about how they feel, and that if they're not trying to be on your page, and if they're not acquiescing with what you do, they don't owe you anything anyway. That's what you said. The thing is, it's just like Sherelle and Sharon.
Find the text and bring it back up. You can't remember it.
You're gonna control yourself because you say I'm triggered, but you can't control yourself.
You not actually answer my question. You didn't actually say what I said. I said you might as well go find the clip or someone send you the clip, and because that's not what I said.
I did, and you're gonna keep saying I didn't, but I did. I'm shedding light to what you said. You said at the very end of that, after you surmised what you said in the beginning, which wouldn't all 3-4 men said that we agreed with what you said in the beginning, and then you ended at what she don't owe you anything. That's what you said at the end. That part. Did you not say that?
I said that at the end.
So tell me if I'm wrong. Why did you say that women don't owe men anything?
I said that under the guise of men not owing women anything. Because like I said, men don't owe. If men have not been incentivized in this country to quote unquote be real men, and they like to pick and choose, and my summation is that women don't owe men shit and men don't owe women shit. You be a grown ass man and you be a grown ass woman. But in general, I don't owe you nothing and you don't owe me shit. I don't expect nothing out of no random woman or no random man, and vice versa. And women shouldn't expect nothing out of no random man and no random woman. So I disagree with that totality of what you guys are even talking about.
Okay.
That men should be this thing, because if as a societal level, if you have not incentivized men to do that throughout their life and they get demonized when you want to pick and choose, then fuck it all. That's why I said most men like me are going to stand on being a grown ass man and don't give a fuck what you say about a real man and try to uphold your societal bullshit. That's what I said. That's why I said you full of shit and you got triggered because you didn't hear what I said.
But no, I heard exactly what you said, and you walking back some of the stuff that you said at the very end. Hey, you know what, Sway? I'm gonna let you be emotional and actually triggered. You projecting, brother. You have an emotional issue right now. I'm gonna let you be in your rest in your femininity, man. Go ahead.